Welcome back to my good reviews. All right, y'all. So this is my review for the Superman movie that just came out this year, James Gunn's Superman. Give you the good, I'm gonna give you the bad. Overall, I'm gonna give you my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. Ain't nobody else's opinion, right? Things what I liked and what I didn't like. All right, things that I liked. Getting right into it, man. David Corn Sweater Superman. Before the movie came out, I said I like the cast. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I am a fan of the Snyder movies. I ain't gonna knock that. They're not perfect. They are not perfect, but overall, I do like the movies. But I understand at the end of the day, man, they're not everybody's taste. You know what I'm saying? And I realized also there were some things in there that wasn't my taste. You know what I'm saying? And I'll get right into it. But David Corn Sweater Superman, I like the cast. Overall, I like the cast. I like him as Superman. I thought he was a very good Superman. He embodies what Superman is. Very hopeful. You know, he has that charm. You know what I'm saying? That Kansas charm to him. You know what I'm saying? So overall, I thought he was a good Superman. Not gonna knock that. Good Superman. Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor. I liked him too. I liked him as Lex Luthor. Overall, I liked the cast as well. There was really nobody in the cast that I did not dislike. You know what I'm saying? Overall, I liked I liked the take on what they did with Jimmy Olsen, him kind of being like a playboy. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was kind of funny. It was goofy in some moments though, like him walking down Metropolis and he got a bunch of prostitutes hollering at him. I'm like, what? I'm like, all right, bro, you ain't got that much riz. But overall, like it was fine. It was fine. The Justice Gang. All right, but just call them the Justice Society if you know your comic books. Like I say, I've been collecting comic books and action figures to this day, man. To this day, I got a mountain right now. I can just go and show y'all, but I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, man, just overall, like I like Guy Gardner. I like Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner. He embodies what Guy Gardner is. Definitely, you know, a jerk and everything like that. Mr. Terrific, I thought he was cool. You know, he was shucking and jiving from time to time. I'm the guy, Mr. Terrific. I'm like, bro, shut up. But you know, say Hawk Girl. I like the girl who played Hawk Girl. I didn't like her screeching when she going in the fight scenes. That was stupid. You know what I'm saying? But overall, like it was fine. Metamorpho. I like his costume in Metamorpho. I thought I liked his look a lot. Same time with the baby and stuff like that, it was getting a little weird. But overall, it was fine. You know what I'm saying? So overall, the cast for Superman, I thought it was a really good cast. The story, man, the story wasn't that strong. The story was not that strong. You know what I'm saying? With the whole, I think it's, forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong, the Bolivian plot point and stuff like that, and Lex Luthor using social media to take down Superman. You know what I'm saying? And him having like a whole, I'll get into that, the negative things I didn't like. But the plot overall, the plot was kind of, you know what I'm saying, spotty. And at the same time, in the beginning of the movie, I will say this, I think this is a part of the reshoots. In the beginning of the movie, it gives like a whole narrative, not like the Star Wars scroll, kind of giving you a breakdown, but breaks down that MetaHuman's been around for this long, Superman's been around for 3 years, this happened 3 hours ago, now this is 3 minutes ago. I'm like, okay, yeah, it seems like that was probably a part of the reshoots, because it really jumps right into Superman in a fight and getting hurt, and it shows like the scene of Crypto taking him to the Fortress of Solitude and everything like that. So yeah, like the plot was hit or miss for me. It was hit or miss. You know what I'm saying? Crypto. Sometimes I like Crypto. Sometimes I want to kick him in the head, bro. I'm like, hey, bro, Crypto, you tripping, dog? Like you doing too much. But overall, like there was a really cool scene when you see Superman go back to the Kent farm and he's healing up and everything like that. Crypto's lying on top of him. You know what I'm saying? Like real sweet moment. So Crypto, like I said, he was hit or miss as well. But at the same time, like, you know what I'm saying? That's the portrayal they wanted to take with him in this movie. Even though in the comics and stuff like that, he's really not like that. He's more of a tame dog. He's, you know, a really good dog at the end of the day. Yeah, so those are like, you know, the good things. Like I said, the costume, the Superman costume, when I first saw the still shots of it, I thought it looked goofy. It didn't look as bad as it did in the movie. In the movie, I thought it was all right for the most part. So yeah, CGI, that was another hit or miss for me. Sometimes CGI looked good, sometimes it didn't. Like with Crypto, there were some moments where like it looked all right. Sometimes it looked, you could tell like, all right, it's completely CGI. So yeah, the budget on the CGI, I don't know what was going on. The flight scenes, like there was a really nice fly scene with Superman when he does fly in the sky and you see the sun down on him and stuff like that. Sometimes the close-up shot of Superman flying, I know it was different from what Snyder did as far as his fly. Now, I will say that Snyder's flying scenes and Man of Steel were better than this. I will say that. But overall, especially showing like Superman's speed and how fast Superman was. Like this, it showed how fast Superman was, but you could tell it was completely, they took a different style, especially with like the open up and close camera shots of him flying and everything like that. So yeah, that was kind of, the flying scenes were all right. Like I said, the CGI was spotty. Like I said, there was a great scene where Lex Luthor, you know, his minions, you know, they go into the Fortress of Solitude and there's like a big old fight scene and Lex Luthor has all these like weapons and everything, and like, metal and everything like around him, like he didn't get burned or nothing. He's just walking right through it. So I will say this is a very comic booky movie. It's a very comic booky movie, and you can tell Warner Brothers definitely wants to diverge of what the Snyderverse did. Snyder and his movies were very realistic, man. Very, very realistic, very serious movies. You know what I'm saying? This was a lot more lighthearted, really a lot more akin to the Superman comic books and stuff like that. So at the same time, I understand them definitely wanting to diverge from that. Definitely wanting to diverge from that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you can tell that this is definitely a James Gunn movie. The humor, now this is something I definitely was hit or miss on. The humor, I didn't laugh that much. There was a lot of unnecessary jokes, and a lot of times, that Marvel humor. This is the most Marvel DC movie successful because they have tried it before afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like the Flash was trash, bro. The Flash was not good, but you could tell DC for the longest has definitely been trying to copy the Marvel formula. So what you do, you take James Gunn, who's been successful in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I like 1 and 3 a lot. 2, it was fine. I don't dislike 2, but the Guardians of the Galaxy movies overall are successful. You know what I'm saying? So you take James Gunn, you make him the head of DC Studios, him and Peter Safran. So this is the most Marvel DC movie, you know what I'm saying? And it's doing pretty good domestically. Internationally, it's a different story, but domestically, it's doing pretty solid. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is the most. It's very comic booky, you know what I'm saying? Very comic booky, and it definitely has that James Gunn silly humor to it. You know what I'm saying? Now there was some moments in there that humor-wise I did laugh. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I thought the humor was just the last thing. There's the whole thing of Guy Gardner saying, "Oh, the Justice Gang." Excuse me, we're the Justice Gang. You know what I'm saying? And Mr. Terrific and Hawkgirl like, man, we ain't the Justice Gang. You actually see the, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, why is it? The Justice League headquarters, man. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart. Oh, the Hall of Justice. Yeah, you see that, like they make that and everything like that. And pretty much at the end, Metamorpho, he helps them out with the whole Bolivian, that whole complex and everything like that. and Guy Gardner's like, what, this weirdo? You want him in the group? You know what I'm saying? And he's like, you want him a part of the Justice Gang? Metamorpho's like, oh, Justice Gang, I like that name. He's like, you're in. So that was funny. That was a part I did bust out laughing on. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about James Gunn humor, even the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Sometimes it's a little too goofy. Sometimes it does hit, you know what I'm saying? So it's hit or miss, you know what I'm saying? And you could tell this is the most Marvel DC movie they have made, you know what I'm saying? Especially with that humor. Like I said, sometimes I was like, I ain't feeling it. Sometimes it made me laugh. The few times it made me laugh. Like I said, overall, now as far as the bad, so that's mainly like the good, you know what I'm saying? Or the hit or miss. But as far as like the bad stuff, I really didn't like the whole social media angle of Lex Luthor trying to take down Superman using social media and stuff like that. And that was too silly for me, man. That was way too goofy, you know what I'm saying? And the people of Metropolis turned on Superman quick, and that's another part I'm gonna get to. But yeah, that whole social media complex and pretty much having like a whole team, you know what I'm saying, with him to town to take down Superman, like that was really goofy. That was too goofy for me, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, bro. Like Lex Luthor, like in the comic books, man, especially like if you guys remember the Superman animated series, the Justice League animated series, Lex Luthor is suave. Like Lex Luthor is a serious deal, and I like how Lex Luthor was portrayed in that more than I did in here, even though I did like Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, you know what I'm saying? His whole reasoning for hating Superman and stuff like that, just pretty much being in fear of Superman. Pretty much that's kind of in line of what Lex Luthor does, how he feels about Superman. You know what I'm saying? Superman is kind of like a god on earth, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, pretty much, I lost my train of thought right there. But yeah, so that was one of the things I really didn't like. Now, one of the things I hated, I ain't gonna be lying, I hated this, man. They changed Jor-El, his whole reasoning of sending Superman to Earth. You know what I'm saying? That because in the beginning you see a whole message of why Superman, he sees like the beginning of the message which he can interpret, and then later on Lex Luthor interprets the whole thing and then portrays that on social media and TV to be like, this is why his parents sent him here. And this is something I did not like. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be straight up. I did not like James Gunn changing this about Superman, is that it's kind of like what's it called in Invincible? The virtual mics, how they're sent to Earth and pretty much, to reproduce with the women to take over Earth. They pretty much had that same story for Superman. Like, you're going to Earth to mate with their women, to take over Earth and all that kind, to rule over the people. And that's something I did not like, because even in the Man of Steel or in this one, you know what I'm saying? Like Jor-El and like Pa Kent, they all have the same, even though the two different fathers, they have the same man. You're gonna be a symbol for hope. People gonna look up to you. You know what I'm saying? Like they have that even in the Christopher Reeves movies when Marlon Brando was Jor-El and stuff like that. Like that was the whole thing of Jor-El. Like he loved his son. He wanted him to help people, not to go and rule over people and to mate with the women and kind of, that was something I didn't like. So that whole plot point of them using that and then Lex Luthor pushing that out, I hated that. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, that's the comic book fan of me. Like, nah, bro, like that's some bullshit. I'm like, I wasn't feeling that at all. You know what I'm saying? So overall, as far as the movie, action scenes were all right. Superman got dog walked a lot in this movie, bro. Superman was getting beat up a whole lot. More than any Superman movie I've ever seen before or cartoon, Superman was getting walked in this movie, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the beginning, the pacing was very fast. The pacing of the movie was very, very fast. It was like, all right, we're here. Now we're here. Like, a great scene was like, you see, like, them trying to, I think it was in the Fortress of Solitude. Next thing you know, it switches over to the monster, Metropolis, and everything like that. And you see Superman, like, you know, saving a lot of people. A lot of things they feel like they were course correcting from the start of the movies because a lot of people saying he wasn't saving people in those movies and stuff like that. So it would seem like they were trying to course correct a lot. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, so, you know, I mean, in the comics, you know, Superman, you know, saving the squirrel and saving the people. And that's one thing about superhero movies, man. If I'm in a superhero movie, dog, I ain't sitting around filming no monster. I'm out of the city, bro. And that was another thing too. You know, it made it seem, it was very comic booky. It was very comic book movie. You know what I'm saying? The sense of, you know, like, oh man, casualties, human casualties. Like, come on, bro. If there's a kaiju in a city, I don't care who it is, some people going to die. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's something that, you know what I'm saying, in the movie they definitely, you see Superman saving a lot of people, which he does do in the comics, so I'm not knocking that. But like I said, that definitely, I felt like that was a course correct from the start of the movies, because that was a lot of complaints, a lot of people's, you know, complaints towards those movies and stuff like that. Mr. Terrific had a really cool fight scene. That was a really cool fight scene. I like that a lot. One thing I didn't like about that fight scene was the music, though. I wish they had more of the, you know, the cinematic music to it. You know, he kind of had like a song playing, like a James Gunn movie, like the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when they're fighting the monster. You know, Groot is dancing, and it was very similar to that. Not Mr. Terrific dancing and acting goofy, but like the music, like the music selection. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Like I said, like the plot point. You know what I'm saying, with, you know, the country and having Superman with the social media. I didn't like the plot that much. The plot was like, you know what I'm saying? The cast, I thought the cast was good. The action scenes were all right for the most part. Nothing memorable outside of Mr. Terrific's fight scene. I thought that was a really good fight scene, but overall, I really didn't care for, I mean, the action was fine. It was fine. You know what I'm saying? The humor was definitely hit or miss. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I like the joke at the end with Guy Gardner Metamorpho. That made me bust out laughing. You know what I'm saying? But overall, it was kind of, you know what I'm saying? Oh, Lex Luthor has his ex-girlfriends and stuff like that, and, you know, monkeys typing on social media in a different pocket universe. Like, that was stupid. But, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was some good things in there, and it was some bad things in there. I think this movie, for me, this movie is definitely, I don't know how I feel about it. It's not something I'm going to rush to the theaters to watch again, but at the same time, there were some things in there I liked. There were some things in there I didn't like. Some people saying this is the best Superman movie ever. Nah, it's not better than the original Superman, Christopher Reeve. I'm not gonna knock y'all. It's not better than that. But at the same time, there are some good things in here. You know what I'm saying? And there are some bad things in here. You know what I'm saying? No movie is perfect, but I felt like a lot of things in here were very over the top and cheesy. You know what I'm saying? Like Lex Luthor's, you know, girlfriend, like taking the selfies everywhere and stuff like that, and her having like this secret, this whole secret, you know what I'm saying, what's the word I'm looking for? Relationship with Jimmy Olsen and stuff, and Jimmy really doesn't want to deal with her. And she's like, oh, Jimmy, we can be together, because she sends Jimmy Olsen all these selfies. And he's like, why she send me these selfies? But in the background, she's like seeing all Lex Luthor's plans. So she wasn't really stupid. She was dumb. But she was like, the way how she used that angle to take Luthor down and help the Daily Planet, you know what I'm saying? That was a pretty clever angle on her part. But overall, like I said, the humor was hit or miss. Action-wise, there was some good action scenes in there, but nothing too memorable. The plot point I really didn't care for. The cast, overall, I did like the cast. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, and the CGI, like I said, CGI was spotty. Yeah, so overall, man, just my fair opinion of the movie. I'll go 7 out of 10. I'll go 7 out of 10. I know people are going higher. Like I said, I didn't dislike the movie, but at the same time, there was nothing too memorable in this movie. Even after watching it, I'm like, there was some cool scenes in there, but at the same time, there was nothing that really stood out to me like, dang, man, remember that scene, remember that, you know what I'm saying, like out of other superhero movies that I've seen in the past. So that's just my fair assessment of Superman, James Gunn's Superman movie. Overall, 7 out of 10, you know what I'm saying, like I said, it didn't blow me away, but at the same time, there were some cool things in there. Anyway, tell me what you guys think about the movie. If you have seen the movie, definitely throw in the comment section. If you agree or disagree, I'd love to hear from you guys. Hope everybody has a blessed day, and I'll see y'all soon. Have a good one.